37 Disney Street, which isn't far from you, 3 Disney fans have watched a film which they will now review.
Hello friends and welcome to 37 Disney Street. We're back in the 100 Acre Wood this week as we take a look at the second sequel in the classic list, classic number 51, 2011's Winnie the Pooh. Artistic talent runs in my family. In fact, it practically stampedes. I'm Chris Fletcher.
You've been pounced. I'm Lucy Rain.
Squidward! Hello friends, I'm Hugh Rain. Hello everybody!
I shouted Squidward because Tom Kenny's in the
Oh,
cast.
okay.
Okay, I
I'll allow
didn't
it.
get that connection.
He's the voice of SpongeBob. Squidward!
Nice.
Okay.
On a
We're getting straight into the facts, aren't we,
Oh,
today?
yes.
No messing around this
Yeah.
week.
On a scale of 1 to 2, how excited are you about this prospect of Winnie the Pooh?
Do you know, just when you're getting going with Tangled, this drags you back.
I wouldn't say dragged you back. It is like the other Winnie the Pooh. It's incredibly pleasant.
It's charming.
It's
Well,
charming.
That's the thing, I was in two minds as, you know, on the one hand it was like, oh, it's Winnie the Pooh, but then on the other hand it's like, oh, it'll be nice, a little break, a little calm, you know, a bit peace and quiet.
Yeah.
I think we're going to, all our opinions and thoughts on this matter are going to come to light
Laid bare.
shortly, aren't they?
Well, do you want to jump straight into the history?
Laid Pooh Bear. Well, before we start,
Oh, yes, you.
I've got a little reveal here because 2 years ago when we started, I've been using this bell every time because I suspected whenever someone said dwarves instead of dwarfs, I was on it. And ever since then, if someone's made a mistake, me included, you get a bell. Now we challenged people to guess what it was. We've had one guess, I think, one proper guess from.
And we
Susie.
know one person has this
Yeah.
in their house.
Susie guessed it was a bell at Tower of Terror from the gift shop. Not
A good guess.
not- a good,
An
very
interesting
good
guess,
Yeah.
Can I ask you before you reveal it, are you going to reveal it for everybody or just for the people who watch this?
I think it should just be for the people who watch this, and that
Well,
will encourage them to come on to
I
our...
don't want to punish the loyal listeners who are there
No.
from the start. So
I agree.
I'm going to tweet this under the hashtag 37 Disney Street bell.
They don't. That means they don't even have to tune into this episode. I think we should reward people for tuning into this episode.
Oh, gosh. Send us an email and we'll send you a picture.
No, I think we should tell them what it is, and then if you want to see it, you can come onto the YouTube version.
Okay, right. One of our listeners is called Andrew Palmer, and in the background of one of his photographs, his children has this, and what the bell was all along, it's this massive Fisher-Price Play Family School.
Ooh.
You can tell it's old because when I said play, a little gust of air came out of my mouth and all the dust came off it. And there's a little bell, school bell on top, and that's what I ting.
And that's why we never have any space on our tables
Yeah.
as well.
People aren't as interested as I, in the mystery of it. So it's like after 2 years, it's time to reveal it.
Yeah. We're so over it.
My
We need to find a
friends-
new bell.
Yeah. No.
No.
It's got a little clock on it, which sometimes I used to set that at when the show started. I'd quickly look at the time and set the clock on here to the time that it was, and at the end I could work out. But now we've got timings and everything, so we don't need to do that anymore. Anyway, that's the big reveal. Is the Fisher-Price Play Family School.
We thought at the beginning of all this, maybe we'd have people guessing left, right, and centre. We'd have to put a page on the website with all the guesses that everyone had so far.
One guess.
And one guess, yeah.
One guess.
Depressing,
And,
isn't it?
and it's just so frustrating when you see one of our listeners has it in their hat
Yeah.
home.
And we even gave that as a
told them,
clue.
yeah.
We gave that as a clue.
Andrew's a regular listener as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just turned the mini oven on. The toy oven.
It's not a real oven. Calm down.
Right,
It's
sorry.
an IKEA kids oven.
Come on
Right.
then.
Shall I jump
Okay.
into history? Music.
It's time to dig a little deeper to learn some Disney stuff. Dig a little deeper, no, we ain't dug this far enough. Dig down deep into the facts, we'll find out what we need. Lucy will school us guaranteed. Open up the windows, let in the light, children.
So this was released on the 6th of April in Europe and on the 15th of July in the USA in the year of our Lord 2011.
Are you dragging out these facts?
And that's all I wrote.
That's all we need to know about it. No, there is some good stuff. So John Lasseter first approached Stephen Anderson and Don Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, in November 2008 about doing not a rework. He wanted another Winnie the Pooh, basically.
We need more poo.
And they were very enthusiastic. Now this is
Do another poo.
this is to type, basically. We talk about the post-Renaissance second dark age of the Disney. And when John Lasseter came along, he really did revive it, and he did it by doing what Disney do best. He went back to princess movies, he went back to musicals, he knew what the vision was, he knew what the audience wanted. So it does make sense that he would look back through the catalogue and go, this is what Disney does, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do respect him for that, because it's worked. God knows it's worked.
And I'm sure it wasn't a marketing ploy of, you know what, we've got this pretty big asset here in Winnie the Pooh and all those characters, and they've not seen the light of day for a while. Let's do a bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, let's talk about this, because I'm unclear as to where the Heffalumps movie, the Tigger movie, and the Piglet movie all come.
Oh, interesting.
Now, I know that some of those were being... I can't remember which ones, but some of those were being marketed when I worked at the Disney store. So it'll be between 97 and 2001. But I don't feel like they needed another one of these to remind us about Winnie the Pooh characters. And
No.
I can tell you from working there in 99 and 2000, we were full of Winnie the Pooh merch, and it flew off the shelves.
What a poo.
Full of
2000 for Tigger movie, 2003 for Piglet movie,
Yeah.
2005 for Heffalump movie.
Yeah, well, it was the Tigger movie, must have been when I was working there then. But it was when I first worked there. We'd have whole shelves of, pyjamas, notebooks.
Yeah.
Nobody had a problem buying Winnie the Pooh.
People love poo.
They absolutely love a bit of poo. So, anyway, they viewed the original again to make it culturally relevant. Well, I'm glad in their research they decided to watch the original.
Once.
And there was on the Wikipedia page I read, it was like, background. They watched the original movies.
Yep.
Well, that's dedication for you.
Good start.
But they also took a trip to Ashdown Forest, which is where the original 100 Acre Wood takes its inspiration. Because, of course, A.A. Milne lived on the outskirts, and that's where he and his son would play. So they visited Ashdown Forest for that purpose. Bernie Matterson, who worked on the original 1974 Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, was brought back on board to be a lead storybook artist. So he was one of the original artists. Of course, most of the key artists.
Storyboard.
He was the storyboard artist on this one.
Okay, you said storybook.
Okay.
Just clarifying.
Why are you dinging,
When you're dinging your bell,
bells
yeah,
in?
come on, make use of it.
Because I
now,
wasn't sure if
everybody.
it was an error or what.
Okay. Yeah. And the original title was Winnie the Pooh and the Day in Which Many Things Happened.
Oh, I like that. That's
like-
a nice little classy name, though.
I like that.
Yeah.
But it was shortened. There were many meetings on how they could... I don't think I've written this down. I can't remember the word they used. It wasn't current. It was relevant. They had many meetings on how they could make this old text relevant today.
Relativize it.
But you know what's strange? Is I don't think they did. And that's not a criticism. But there was nothing that felt 21st century about it particularly. And that's why I liked it. But yeah, they wanted to make it more relevant. And getting rid of that title was part of it. In music, they sent out some rushes of some of the basic musical scenes to 5 different music writing duos, and the one that they fell in love with was Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez, who would go on to write the music for
Everything.
Frozen.
and every other thing. At the time, they had been working on Finding Nemo the musical for Animal Kingdom. This was their first feature with Disney, which I was really surprised.
Worlds apart from Frozen and Frozen 2, isn't it?
Yeah, but I respect them a bit more for it now because you can do power
Versatile.
ballads, well done, but to do this kind of style, you have to understand your text, don't you? And
Yeah.
quite good.
Versatile.
So Zoe Deschanel sung the Winnie the Pooh theme.
I'm listening to watching the beginning of the film and the music starts and I thought this sounds like it could have been lifted and put into the movie Elf because it sounds a bit like Zoe Deschanel singing and I thought actually it really does sound like Zoe Deschanel. So I went and looked it up and it was.
I recognised the voice and I thought who is that? And I thought is it Regina Spektor? Now, but the funny thing is, I went through a brief period of being into Regina Spektor and M. Ward. But M. Ward is on this film.
Yes.
But it's not Regina Spektor, it's Zoe Deschanel. Check her out.
Well, you're going to take my next fact, and I don't have many of these. So you've got to give me what I've got. Zoe Deschanel wrote the end song and performed it with M. Ward.
Oh, okay.
Who is in her band, I believe.
Oh.
But I have to say, I really liked that end song. Well, we'll get to this. We'll get to all this. We'll get
in the
to all this.
music section.
And, boys,
What?
I don't want to disappoint you.
Okay, don't then. Say
Next section. Next section.
Say something thrilling.
Well, that's literally all the interesting background I could find on this. They wanted to make a Winnie the Pooh film. And God damn it, they made one.
Yeah.
There we go. Good on them. Okay, well, as usual, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the film in terms of its story and in terms of its animation and then in terms of its music. But before we do, and also in terms of our favourite bits, just because I remember, and also everybody's favourite bit, huge cry factor.
It's what everyone's talking about.
It's what everyone's talking about. But first, to get a bit of a flavour for the film, to get an understanding of the film, to get a feeling for it, we're going to hear what the kids have to say.
Today we watched Winnie the Pooh. First I want to say, why another Winnie the Pooh? So the story is that Eel loses his tail and Roo, Kangaroo, Tigger, Pooh, Rabbit, Owl, Christopher Robin all have to find his tail. But then at the end, the doorbell ring was actually his tail.
And then Christopher Robin goes and then he leaves a note at the door saying, sorry, busy, back soon.
Owl made up a scary creature called the Baxon, who meant back soon.
And they read it wrong and they think it's Baxon and they think it's a massive monster, so they do this trap. But Pooh fell into it. It's like a book as they go along. So lots of words fell down and then Pooh made them as a ladder and they all climbed out.
My favourite bit and my favourite song is the bit where Pooh's thinking about everything being honey.
The person who got Eeyore's tail got honey and everyone got a thing and then they kept giving the honey out to people. The end.
At the end, there are the actual toys of the characters doing stuff, and I thought it was like my Toy Story dolls which do stuff because they move at night.
My favourite bit was when everyone when they got it, it's Pooh, it's Pooh, like that. That was funny.
My favourite bit was the middle because it was a little bit scary, but I still liked it. My favourite characters, I've got two, is Piglet because he's so scared and shy, and Tigger because he's so bouncy and pouncy.
My favourite character was Roo because I just like him the best.
I like all of them. My favourite song is the same as my favourite bit where he's singing about everything being honey.
My favourite song was, the things like It's Pooh, is that a song?
Yeah.
Okay, it's
because there weren't that much songs.
Did you just trump us talking about It's Pooh?
Yeah.
I would give it a 3 out of 5.
I would give it a 4 out of 5.
I would give it 100 million out of 10.
So, what we're going to do now then is we're going to talk about the story.
So it's time to discuss how the story goes. I know it can't be worse than Oliver and Coke.
Actually, I will add that Bonnie spoke more about this than she has for anything in quite a while.
Oh, really?
I mean, not masses, but she had something to say which she hasn't done.
I thought I was going to struggle with the boys, and I didn't have any problems whatsoever. Yeah, they talked quite a lot as well.
The kids do find Pooh engaging, don't they?
They do.
But
They
did
do.
we?
Well, but they used. I say I have nothing else to add. I will say they did conglomerate. That's probably totally the wrong word. But they took 3 original A.A. Milne stories and merged them together to make.
Compile?
Yeah.
Compilation?
Compiled to sort of write a whole new
They
story.
squished 3 Poohs together.
But the basic ideas and text were there, and they were true to the original text. And I think it shows. I mean, we've seen this before. It's lots of very small stories that sort of tie together to make one big long story. So you've got Eeyore missing his tail. You've got them falling down the hole turns into one. You've got the Baxen. You've got but all this goes on seamlessly, doesn't it? You've got the Tigger trying to make Eeyore into Tigger 2. Any other little elements?
Don't know.
Honey.
Him
There's lots of
wanting the
trying to get
honey, trying to get the honey, all these kind of things. And it's very charming. Now, compared to this, it in so many ways, it could have just been one of the 60s films. It's just an extension of, and I don't mind them at all making it because they're popular, they're charming, and they are episodic. So you can just make another one and it works perfectly. But there was just something occasionally off. Just something in the way that they would write dialogue, in the way they would write humour sometimes that just didn't quite feel original.
How many times can you say the word charming about something and it stops being charming? There were things that were off about it. What I decided was this was pitched at a Disney Junior audience and not so much at a family audience for me. It was quite childish in tone, I thought, more so than the 60s,
77?
70s, yeah.
Oh, I was saying 60s.
Well, I can't remember.
I
they
think
were all
you're right, 70s.
they were made as shorts separately, weren't they? Over a bunch of years. It spanned over a lot of years.
Pooh
Yeah.
film
I thought the first one was made before Walt died.
77.
Like that.
77.
okay.
I think it was in development for Walt
77.
died.
I win.
Yeah. But either way, they were made over a long period of time because they were released as shorts first, weren't they? And then brought together for the classic. But I think that the tone of those was far more family oriented, certainly for that time. Whereas this just felt very, very much a kid's story to me, which is why I didn't engage in it. And the first 15, 20 minutes, I wasn't bothered. In fact, it was a chore watching this. And then the whole story of the Baxen came in and it pulled me in for a bit.
Yeah.
It just did, but I think that's probably more an animation thing than anything else, but it pulled me in.
I'm going to be honest, I fell asleep in the last...
I thought you did.
Just the last 15 minutes of this. I just couldn't fight it. But in many films, you'd see that as a criticism.
She was very drunk, though.
Don't say
She wasn't. You whispering that like that makes it sound like you were, but she wasn't.
that. No,
She doesn't drink.
I don't drink. It was a Sunday morning. Mama was not drunk. Anyway, it sounds like criticism to say, that film, fell asleep in that film. But I'm just thinking, if you can have a snooze on the couch, there is nothing I would rather have on the television. Because you know when you really are lightly snoozing, but you're still half listening to something and you can hear voices and you can open your eyes and see an element of something. It was just lovely. Now, whether they're going to spend $50 million making a film for me to fall asleep to, I don't know if that's the best thing they've ever done. But I honestly, if I were just wanting to chill out and to relax and want to noodle on my phone and snooze, I'd put this on again.
I got very bored towards the end, and I was like going,
Just get on with it.
I was.
It's only an hour long as
I
well.
know.
I had the track list, the soundtrack up, so I could reference them when we come to the music. And when it got to the penultimate one, I was like, "Oh, good."
Oh no!
I mean, I didn't hate it, and it's nothing like that. I was just keen for it to be over. Is that the same?
He's so hard to talk about because, listeners, it is a Winnie the Pooh film, and if you've ever seen any Winnie the Pooh, it's that for an hour, and it's nice.
It is nice, but the thing is, I feel like we've just been here before.
Yeah, we have.
It's an homage as well. Can I just say it's not? It doesn't feel original. It feels like they've gone out of their way to make it feel like what they were. The voice acting's okay, but at times it really grated me that characters didn't sound like what they're supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
It bothered me.
Wow.
And Jim Cummings is great at doing both voices, and actually he does a pretty good Sterling Holloway impression.
it's-
But he sounds the same as
Yeah.
Tigger as he does as Pooh. To me.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think both of those are.
I think his
Quite
Pooh. I think his
spot on.
Pooh is like one of the greatest impersonations in film history.
There you go.
I think it's like I can't believe it's a different person.
Yeah.
I mean, if I heard them side by side, maybe I'd go, all right, I can hear the differences. But just thinking, just the minute I heard Jim Cummings, I had to double check. Like, Sterling Holloway was, he had gone by now, hadn't he?
He sounds like Ray to me from Princess and the Frog. I can hear his voice
yeah.
in
Okay.
all three of those characters. I just can. I think you can do that with impressionists, though, can't you? That it doesn't. Even though you can listen to them and say, yes, you sound like who you are, you can still hear their voice in it, like you can hear someone's voice when they sing. I think you
Yeah.
can anyway. Doesn't matter how good they are at it, you can still hear it sometimes.
The guy doing Owl, what's he called? Craig Ferguson.
Mm.
I only know him as like an American talk show host, but he's Scottish. Is he Scottish? I think he's Scottish.
Sounds Scottish.
And he, I've just seen clips of him on YouTube, like chatting up the female guests, and you think, oh, that's a bit creepy, but he always seems to get away with it, and they love him. Anyway, he's doing the voice of Owl, and he's the only one who everyone else sounded quite natural.
Yeah,
and
didn't fit.
he wasn't putting in a bad performance. He wasn't bad, but he founded like he was trying quite hard.
Very hard, yeah.
Normally, I don't mind that, but next to the others, he stood out a little bit.
I think that was the point. Yeah, he stood out, and Christopher Robin stood out as well.
Christopher Robin, well, I must say, he was poor. Sorry to whoever that lad is. I mean, that lad's probably 38 now, but
Yeah.
he's not 38, but
Yeah.
he was bad.
Yes, was not good.
Sorry, young man, but
I did like the pace of the story, though. I liked the way we went from one little incident to another little incident, and they did all manage. There was plenty of callbacks, so they didn't just feel separate and aimless. They were all heading towards one thing. You're right that it was a homage, though, because the Tigger movie and the Piglet movie is far more. It's bigger and broad. I don't want to say more anarchic because it's far from that, but it just feels a little bit more modern and punchy. But having said that, I would have felt quite irritated if they'd tried to do anything with this other than what they did with it.
Well, but then that raises that question of why did they feel the need to make this a classic?
Why did they do it?
They've done loads of successful, probably I would imagine some of their more successful straight to home release films are going to be these, aren't they? So what was the thought process behind doing this? If you go back to, do you remember us having a conversation during when we talked about the Princess and the Frog, the Frog Princess, the Princess and the Frog, about why don't they do these 2D films? Why don't they still do them? Why don't they do them like even if they just did them every 10 years?
yeah,
This is why. This is why they don't do it. This film is exactly why, because they'll have done this and then gone. Why bother?
Do you know what though? I almost feel like it was released 5 to 7 years too early. Because if this had been released straight to Disney Plus, and it had been marketed new Winnie the Pooh thing, and it had been marketed on the junior screen,
fresh poo.
It would have been. It's the kind of thing that would have been really worth producing now.
So it's not getting old, that joke, is it?
I
not for me. It's not.
I just went somewhere with like, you know how in the Muppets they do
Muppet films that are the Muppets, Muppet Treasure Island,
Yes.
a Muppet the Christmas Carol, those kind of things.
Muppet Pooh.
But if they did Winnie the Pooh and Curly Sue and call it Curly Pooh, just came into my head. I don't know why. I'm sorry. It wasn't worth sharing, but it was just there.
I just settled for Muppet Pooh, basically. Shall we score it?
Yeah. I just looking. I'm done with.
There was a
mine.
few very old jokes, like owl flying out of the hole and then back in again.
That got you and Bonnie. But I was, and I've been honest here. You two were going, why doesn't it fly out? And I thought that can't be an oversight. And I wanted to say, just wait. Let's just find out because I'm sure something's. And they made a joke of it. That's why. And that was good. And it got you.
It didn't exactly get me. I was talking to Bonnie and going, Bonnie, why didn't he just fly out? He's got wings.
She says that. But I know.
Story score then.
I will give this a hearty 6. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's well paced, and it's good, and it's classic, and it's part of the original text. But it doesn't do anything new. Why would it get more?
It's light. There are some nice gentle humour in there, but I did get very bored towards the end. So I'm going to get 7. But, we finished watching this. You know what time it was? 9:15 a.m.
We get up early.
That is good. We've got a whole day ahead of us, so
yeah.
So it gets a 7.
We were out of the house at football at 9:15 this morning.
You could have watched the whole film.
We'd already watched an hour and a half of Minecraft.
There you
videos.
go.
Yeah. It's charming. I'm going to say it again. It's charming, isn't it? Some of the voices grated in me. The story was kind of all right, but for something that had very short, pacey stories, it still seemed to lag quite a lot. And yeah, I'm going to give it 6. Animation?
Look at the animation hue, the characterization hue, and don't forget the backgrounds and the style. Yeah, man.
Coming in there live. Coming in hot.
What was going on with Christopher Robin? Why was he wearing that? Why was his face so weird? Because they didn't change anyone else.
Well, that's not true. Because Rabbit at times was going a little bit Roger Rabbit, I thought. They were really playing with his facial expressions in a way that I didn't like, that did not fit with that character at all. Have you seen any of the new Warner Brothers cartoons?
No.
So, they've recently come onto Sky. They're all brand new Warner Brothers cartoons.
How new? I've seen Bugs Bunny about 3 years ago.
Oh no, like this year I think. They're like 9-minute shorts, and they usually have 2 or 3 different things in them. And so basically, they've started doing these shorts, and Sky have got a lot of other stuff now. Disney have gone off on their own way, so they're all there to watch if you want to. But what they've done with the animation is they've obviously looked at what's happening with the Mickey shorts and kind of thought about that idea, but they don't want to go all that way. So what they've done is they've gone halfway between what Warner Brothers cartoons are and what that is. Yeah. So what you've got is characters that look fundamentally the same as they always did, but just slightly different enough for them to make you feel really uncomfortable when you're watching them. And that's what Rabbit was for me today.
Right.
Is that like a celebrity when they've had some plastic surgery?
Yes.
But you're not sure what they've had done, but you know they've had something done.
Exactly that.
That's been me and Ben Affleck for like 10 years.
I'm going to say, are you thinking of Ben Affleck? I knew it.
I can't. Every time he comes on screen, I'm like, what is it?
Yeah, she's like,
is it his chin?
What is
it? Is it his eyes? What's wrong with him? There's something wrong with him.
There you go.
Yeah. Pooh's arms got a little bit rubber hose-ish at time, which I don't think they ever used to be. They'd sometimes like bend over his head and stuff and stretch, and they never really used to. They used to be a bit more.
I just feel like they haven't used that. So again, it's a homage, isn't it? The whole thing is the backgrounds are done in that very, very stylized, watercolory, hand-drawn lines and everything. They've almost gone for that Xerox look and feel, but without having it, which actually I think it's missing it. Personally, I think the rough line drawings are missing from it. But yeah, it's an homage, but I don't think they've done a particularly great job. It's like with the characters, like they've said, well, I know there's style guides for every single character that Disney have ever made, and we have set ways that we have to draw them. But let's not quite do that. Let's just do it slightly differently.
But if you remember when we watched the original, you all right, dear?
Just I was sitting sideways, so I'm now straddling the cinema seat in front of me as not to spoil the illusion.
That massive popcorn there.
Mhm.
Does it go all the way down to the floor?
The-
If I put my hand in.
I won't put your hand in there.
If you remember us reviewing the originals, however long ago, it was 3 shorts done over nearly a decade, and so the second one, and they did change subtly.
Yes, they did.
The backgrounds changed subtly. The vividness of the colours, I seem to remember, changed. The colour of rabbit,
the vividity.
vividity.
Vividosity.
The colour rabbit went from sort of sandy colour to yellow and all this. So it's natural that they do another episode and again it would change slightly again. I get what you're saying, but I didn't see any massive difference in style that made me go, they've ruined it, they've killed it, they've killed Pooh, they've stepped on the Pooh. None of that. There was just the odd bits of anime. Well, Christopher Robin was a different character entirely, and then just odd bits of animation just didn't fit.
I liked some of the animation there. There's some really nice bits where Pooh's twisting his t-shirt around playfully, as he's talking nervously. And there's a bit where I can't remember the exact quote, but he says something like, "I'm looking for a mum," and he smacks his lips. It's just in profile. He's just really briefly smacks his lips together, and it was really cute. I'm looking for a mum.
Well, you're making me want to watch it again.
It is nice. It's very, very pleasant.
I always forget how
But,
much I like Winnie the Pooh till I
is-
see some.
Is it vanilla? But
It's definitely vanilla.
my problem with this is that it's always been the backgrounds and I'd be interested to see if I said this when we did the 77 one. The backgrounds are sort of scrubby and unappealing, and it's always like a bit autumnal, which is normally my favourite month. But for this, it just makes me feel cold and depressed.
Yeah.
And it's wishy-washy, and I've been watching late 80s, 90s cartoon called Oxtails on YouTube. Don't know if you've ever seen that. It's just proper cartoon, animals cartoon, like in the fields and the woods and things, and that's really nice. And it's sunny, and it's mountains, and it's it's adventure time, and then you go to this, and it's just like the same scrubby bits of wood again. Oh, come on!
It is something that it's instantly recognisable as the 100 Acre Wood, though, isn't it? And I guess so. They were right. Again, they were right to do it that way because it fits with everything. Unless they were going to be bold and do it their own way, which blatantly they decided they weren't going to do. So I do like the Baxon song bit with the whole chalkboard piece. It's something a little bit different.
It felt a bit
style.
Elephants on Parade almost.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Something.
But
like
if
that.
you think about the Heffalump song,
Yeah.
did that as well, didn't
Oh,
it?
yeah, that's
For
right.
lumps and woozles. I like that they brought a little bit of the 3D in with the Honey song as well, because it was released in 2011 and they were trying to replicate a 1977 style. I think it was actually quite good when they brought in 2011 techniques and because they can, and if they hadn't done it, would have almost felt stubborn. I felt like and they made it blend in. It didn't feel out of place in it. I thought that they used that very well. And they did a couple of different techniques for various things. Bonnie loves the way that they use the book and the text and things.
Yeah.
And that was always a feature of Winnie the Pooh. But I think they really leaned into it in this film in some really, really clever ways.
Oh, using it to get out of the hole and stuff. Lucas really liked that as well.
Well, even following the thread along the text.
That's the kind of thing that really appeals to children because it's just something they're familiar with, but they've never seen it being used in that way, in that abstract way, and they find it fascinating, don't they? Bonnie, by the end of this, was actually sat on the floor on her knees, just sat watching it, which she doesn't do.
Yeah.
So
The boys were a bit like that as well. Neither of them wanted to watch it, and I thought I was going to have to fudge it and find a way to get through recording them and giving a score and stuff. But I sat them down with the tea and I put the iPad in front of them, and I thought, even if they get through the first 10 or 15
Great
minutes, at least they've
parenting,
done
Chris.
it. I know.
Great parenting.
And it was because I wanted to watch the football on the telly,
Yeah.
so they weren't having the telly. so then, but within like the first 10 minutes, they were both going, I'm really bored, I'm not enjoying this. And then again, as soon as the Baxton song came in, they were lifted by it completely, and by the end of it, they really, really enjoyed it, both of them. Funny, innit?
Should we score the animation then?
Yep. I'm gonna kick it off. I've given it an 8.
Ooh.
Because I mean, the problems I have with the backgrounds, that's just a personal thing, and that's nothing against what they've done. Everything is competent. It's just not that much new to look at. So I've given it an 8, which I think it technically deserves.
I've given it a 7. I've just said some of the character animation doesn't feel on point to me, but it looks really nice overall. And I love the backgrounds. I know you hate them. I love them. And I also really like the play with the book as well.
I have just talked myself into upping it slightly. I think I'm going to give it an 8 because when I'm remembering certain sections, I'm remembering the use of the book. I was a bit cross about Pooh's arms, and I was very cross about Christopher Robin, and that was going to take it down to a 7 or possibly a 6. But when I think about the things I do like, I think they outweigh the things I don't. So I'm sticking with an 8.
Very good. Music.
So do, so me do, me so do, me do. We are going to talk about the music hits. Rate the songs and score the incidental bits.
Right. The trailer for this featured the song by Keane, Somewhere Only We Know.
I noticed that, yeah.
And
When did you see the trailer for it?
In the extras.
yeah.
Do you not go look at the extras?
No, I read about it.
Okay.
And I'm so glad. And it's the same with Peanuts, what is it? Peanuts, the Charlie Brown and Snoopy. What's it called?
The 3D one.
yeah.
Which is now owned by Disney. It's brilliant, is that?
It's
Oh, it is
fantastic,
brilliant, but the
absolutely brilliant.
title is ridiculous.
Yes.
But in the trailer for that, they used Barbara O'Reilly. And when I saw that, I was like, oh no, don't do that. But actually, the film, it was nowhere near it. And it's the same with this. So I just wanted to say it's funny that it was in the trailer. I'm glad it was nowhere near it. You remember when Clocks came on in the wild?
Do it.
And we went, oh no!
It was a low point in animation history, was that?
Oh man, at that exact point, I was like, I am done with this.
It's not even so bad it's good anymore.
But while I was writing all that in my notes, I only listened to half of the Tommy song, but I think I heard enough. Anyway, but I'm skipping over the intro, the Zoe Deschanel intro, singing the.
She's got a nice voice, and I worried when I initially heard the first few bars. I thought, oh, they're doing that modern for the sake of modern thing. But actually, as it went on, the style really suited the song.
Yeah, but she sings in that vintage, that sort of 40s, 50s style, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
Which can be a bit much, almost affected. But I think she doesn't do it too much. I think it's half a sort of an affected style and half that's just how she sings.
My thought process went, oh, it's a Winnie the Pooh song. Oh, it's a really modern version of the Winnie the Pooh song.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure about this. That sounds like Zoe Deschanel. That is Zoe Deschanel. I really like this song.
That's exactly. Without the Zoe Deschanel thing, so I didn't actually work out who it was till I read it. But that was my thinking. It's the minute I heard the first few bars, I'm like, oh, they're doing that thing. Oh.
But I wrote down straight away after that song, this feels like they're trying to do old style music, but in a modern way. So I kind of stuck to that. And when I've just read through my notes and seen my scoring around it, I think I've been very, very unfair to this film in the way in which they've actually paid homage to the music of that period.
Who would they use now
To do this?
Rag and Bone Man.
Oh, for that. Yeah.
Is he one? Is he a person?
I
I don't listen to current music anymore.
Sam Smith.
Or like any sort of advert from the last 15 years that's been using that slowed down, like sounds like a little girl who's lost in the woods singing. She's like,
Twinkle, twinkle.
Yeah.
That thing.
In a minor key.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
I think that the Lopez duo got the tone just right, and they did actually manage to. Was it Sherman Brothers originally? This.
I'm going to say yes. I think so.
I think so.
it was. Yeah, it was that era,
They
wasn't it?
did manage
to. It's tonally bang on, isn't it?
And
Yes, it is.
they just managed to add a little bit more musical interest than there would have been in the originals. They did sweet children's songs very well, did the Sherman Brothers. I hope it is the Sherman Brothers. I should look it up while we're talking. But this managed to have, it had coders and middle eights and interesting things and changes of tone, and then it would interlace another melody. Not loads, not so much to try and make it Les Mis or anything like that, but enough to just make it a tad more interesting than it would have been, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was.
So what we got in the original Winnie the Pooh is Sherman Brothers, we now know for definite. Apart from that bit, a heffalumperwoozle is very confusing. What other songs do you remember from that?
Up, down, touch the ground, puts me in the
Nothing.
mood.
I don't even remember that one.
Okay, the wonderful thing about Tiggers,
Wonderful thing about
which they
it
give
is
a really little bit of in this, don't they, for a split second when he disappears off.
and then Winnie the Pooh. I mean, you've
yeah.
talked about you say how many do you remember? That's 4 really classic Disney
fine.
songs.
But so I guess what my point was going to be, and maybe I've not proven my point, is I think the songs in the original Winnie the Pooh were very throwaway on the whole, and I think the songs in this are very throwaway as well. That isn't to say that they're not good, just that they're not memorable. They're not something I'm going to go out of my way to try and find and have a listen to again. They were on point. They hit the mark. They did exactly what they needed to do within this, but they're not for me.
Yeah, I've never heard of any of these. I've never heard any of these songs before. Granted, I've never seen this film before, but they haven't escaped the film and got into the zeitgeist. Like I had heard Let It Go way before I'd seen the film, for example. I know that's a totally different thing, and it was released, and it was.
We have heard it's going to be great somewhere else, because when that came on, I've never seen this film. I was like, I know that song. I really. How does it go? It's going to be great. Do you know what I'm thinking of now? Is do you remember that is it Shreddy's advert? It was like,
Gonna taste great.
they're gonna taste great. They're gonna taste great. When I hear the sound of Shreddy's hit my plate, I can't do that in my head. But we've heard this. It's going to be great somewhere else. It might just be in the park or something. But I remember singing it back to somewhere, and I'm not sure how.
I wonder if it's on the Winnie the Pooh ride. In Disney World.
Possibly.
Which is a great ride.
So we had the intro. We've got the tummy song, which is just him singing about being hungry. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
A very important thing to do. Now, I just say by that point, that's when I was appreciating how appropriate it was tonally. I was like, yeah, all right, these all sound timeless.
What? So lyrically, how did it work? Because in the original Winnie the Pooh, aren't a lot of the lyrics from? Isn't it a bit like the? Aren't they things that are used that have come straight out of the book? Or am I thinking of Alice in Wonderland?
I can't remember.
I know Alice in Wonderland is because there's a lot of poetry in there. I honestly don't know for Winnie the Pooh.
See, we've done that many films now that some are so long ago.
We should go back and do them again.
Start again. The back. Do you know what the Baxon song? I do not like that.
I like that.
I just found the melody so simplistic. It's like the Baxon. It was a slog for me. I was like, ugh. It was it's so dull.
The best one though, the best song by far, and Ollie got this. Ollie said this. Was it Ollie? It was Lucas. Sorry, Lucas said this. The best song by far is right at the end because I'm going to use this every time I go to the toilet for Ollie in the future. Now, it's Pooh, it's Pooh, it's Pooh. Brilliant.
Which one's that? So long? No, Everything is Honey.
It's when he's won. It's basically a reprise of
right. I think it's Everything. Everything is Honey.
Yeah, I think it's a reprise.
Everything is Honey. Yeah.
When Pooh wins the honey.
The final song, the one that was written by Zooey Deschanel, I was really impressed when I found out she actually wrote it as well as sung it.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is
because, well, I went through a phase of listening to a lot of like Sondre Lercher and that kind of acoustic, lazy American modern jazz style kind of thing. And I just thought that was right on there. And this is when I was waking up from a nap at the end of the film, falling asleep. And I was waking up and I thought, totally have this on a playlist on my iPod. And in fact, I'm going to look up what it is because it's in my easy listening style. Is that I really liked it.
It's called So Long.
So long.
So long.
I will look it up. And I clocked that it wasn't quite Winnie the Pooh, but it wasn't totally off brand to the point where, you know, when the credits are sometimes.
Yeah,
you know
We
what
know.
I mean. You know what I mean. It was
I
just.
can't think of an example now.
But there's so many though, isn't there?
Where you just
When it's
go,
like, oh, where did that come from? Yeah, I thought the end credit thing was absolutely beautiful.
have we mentioned John Cleese?
I mentioned right at the start, but that was all.
Wasn't that before the show started?
I think it was before.
Oh,
we
yes, it
started
was before.
recording.
Yeah, sorry, yes, I should have said that. But the first note that I wrote down was, oh, it's John Cleese.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to say about it.
There's not much to say, is there?
No, he's the right choice. I think he's the right choice. He's the right.
Don't think they'd choose him now.
Well, he's the right class of Brit. He's got the right regional
Yes.
accent.
But the thing is, though, there's something slightly acerbic about him. So when his voice
Yeah.
comes on, I think
He's not fatherly in any way, is he?
No, you think is he gonna say something sarcastic or I'm not sure. Michael Palin though,
Oh.
Yes.
he would have been spot on.
He would have been great. Should we score the music?
Yeah.
I've given it a 6, but I'm going to up it to a 7.
I am going to pad for time. I'm going to send it over to Hugh.
7.
I'm going to give it a 6 then. Oh no, but I really liked it. I'm going to give it a 7.
Screwed up my score.
Okay. I think I'm just
I
thinking.
can add 20, but 21's difficult.
You know, we often say on this show, greater than the sum of its parts or less than the sum of its parts. I've got a feeling this is going to have quite a respectable score, and I don't really think it's worth it.
It does.
But when we break down the story, the animation, it's all there. I think that this is less than the sum of its parts. So I was going to try and manipulate the score by giving a low music score. But I'm not going to do that. I think it's worthy of 7.
What year was this? 2011?
2011, yeah.
It's 10 years old next month, I guess, isn't it? July 15th.
Well, in Europe, it's already 10.
It is, yeah.
Right. Well, so have we got some IMDb and stuff?
No.
Right. Shall I just give us
Says IMDb.
7.2 for IMDb.
Spot on, that, isn't it? Where we like
I'm going
it
to
to
look
be.
up the Rotten Tomatoes because I do think I half looked this up and it was quite high. So, boys, if you're ready for this.
Padding again.
Padding away there. I mean, we would fill, but with nothing else to say.
No.
You never help me out when I need you. Yeah, the critics give it 91%. And the audience have given it a very respectable 80%. So this is liked. I don't deny the quality. I just question why it needed to be made.
I wonder if people are mixing it up with the 77 one and scoring it.
I don't think it would make a difference.
Scoring the incorrect film.
There might be.
Maybe.
I don't think it would make a difference, to be honest. I think they're very much of a muchness. The brand is the brand.
We gave it. No, I will say Winnie the Pooh, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh scored 84. We
Wow.
really liked it.
Wow, that's around the same as we gave the other one, isn't it?
No, that was the other one.
The other. I thought you were talking about this
But
one.
this,
Sorry,
one, Winnie the Pooh, we've given 70.
Oh, there we go. 70.
See, I don't think it's 14 marks worse. I think...
I think only because it's the second of 2. It's why it's come down. Otherwise, I think we'd probably we'd like it a bit more.
Do you want to know something interesting? So we've been following
Really
this.
do.
I know we've been following this IMDb list of the UK classics, haven't we? All
Yeah.
this time. That's how we've done it. It appears to have changed, and Winnie the Pooh is no longer in here. So we could have got away with it,
Ah,
which is interesting
well.
because it says that Wreck-It Ralph is classic number 51.
huh.
But it was definitely in there when
It
we
was.
started doing this.
I saw it on a list today, and it was in there.
So this person's updated this list and taken it out, but it still only goes up to Big Hero 6.
Cancelled the show.
I think that's that it's a real case of us just going next, isn't it? The fact that there's such a big leap between the old one and the new one because there's not that big a leap in quality. And if you like the old one, put on the new one. You're going to love it. You know, if you do just want something to snooze to on a Sunday afternoon. Back in the days when I did drink, if I could go get a KFC with my hangover and then put a Disney film on, this would have filled the bill quite nicely.
There we are.
KFC and a good poo. Favourite bits, anyone?
I liked that Eeyore's tail was the bell ringer at Owl's house. I thought that was a nice little fitting end to the story.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
The stuffed toy photographs in the end credits were the best bit of the entire film for me. Come on.
Oh,
The live bit at the start was pretty good as well. Live. The photographs at the start of the room are quite good, actually. Nicely lit as well, I thought.
But you know, the setting up the scenes, and Bonnie enjoyed that because some of her toys do that at night.
Ah.
Magically, she doesn't. We don't know how it happens, but she wakes up and the toys have moved and they're in little scenes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Clever toys.
I liked, and it's the opening, so it was a strong start for me, the tipping him out of bed gag. I thought they did several interesting things with it.
Cry factor?
It's absolutely beautiful. He really loves it. I don't know why they just can't be together. Hugh's cry factor.
You never really get invested in it. I didn't. It gets one for turning up, one teardrop.
Wow. So, is there anything else you'd like to say about Winnie the Pooh?
I'm afraid
What's
not.
next?
What's next? Next is Wreck-It Ralph.
Wow.
Right.
That's going to be...
Oh,
right.
I am looking forward to that. I am looking forward to
It's
talking
been
about that.
quite a while since I've watched this film.
I've already got some stuff I want to say about that.
Interesting. Very interesting. Do you think we'll do Christopher Robin when we get to it, or whatever it's called?
Now, Bonnie and Hugh
Yeah.
they had a little daddy-daughter date and went to see that at the cinema, and I've never seen it because whenever I've suggested seeing it since, they've already seen it and don't want to watch it.
Well, Bonnie
again.
won't remember it, so it'll be new to her. So you two can watch it.
I
I've
was
seen it.
I was assuming it was like a kiddie version of Ted.
Yeah, I remember. Do you know what? I think I tweeted or Facebooked. No, I checked into the cinema and I think I put something like, "Well, that was bloody lovely."
No.
Something like that. I seem to recall.
Yeah, I don't think that. Well, Hugh doesn't want to see it again because he didn't like it. I
can
just think
watch it
it's like
again,
I've
but-
already seen it. Let's pick
Was it
something
charming?
else.
Was it charming, Hugh?
It probably was.
There you go.
We'll
Winnie the Pooh
see.
is charming. Well, I haven't written an outro this time because I've decided that the outros are pretty unsuccessful overall. So what I thought I'd do is I'd wing it, go back to winging it like I always have done, but try and wing it in a more successful kind of way. So, unless you guys have got anything else to say, I'm just going to plug things like Lucy has done a video about her Loungefly pin bag, which is pretty cool if you want to check that out. We're all over YouTube.
I've done a video.
Hugh's done a video all about his 600 shirts.
And this is a new one, so it's 601 now.
Yeah.
101 shirts. I should have called it that. Oh.
You didn't have 100 shirts, though.
No, you had 40, so it's 41 shirts.
Yeah, but there isn't a Disney film called 40 Dalmatians, is there?
There we go. So there's that video if you want to watch that. We've also got the DLP show, which goes out live every Sunday at 8:30 British summertime at the moment, GMT, whatever you want to call it, in the UK.
We have fun.
Yeah, we do.
There's even banter in the chat room.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And we're on podcasts and all over the place. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
And we have a Patreon account as well if you want to support us with a little bit of financial stuff to help us keep ourselves going and keep the quality going. And that's it, I think, for now. So we'll see you in 2 weeks' time to talk about Wreck-It Ralph. Catch you later.
Bye.